Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Ian Carlos Crawford.
I'm Kimberly Ann Southwick.
I'm May, sad little nerd queen Shults.
And I'm Anthony Oliveira, and we're here to talk about the season 2 finale of The Magicians.
Yay! Anthony, when you text me to tell me that you started watching this, I was fucking thrilled. Anthony has referred to this show for so long as that show you always talk about, Ian, because I talk about it so often. So it's nice to have you here. Tell us how you got into it. I kind of know, but
nice
tell us.
Here. Yeah. Well, it's been circling the periphery of my friend groups for a very long time. You loved it. My partner Alex is a huge fan. He is a huge sci-fi fantasy guy. He reads voraciously. He puts away a doorstop book every week. And he loves this show and he loves the books. So we started watching it. We are making our way very rapidly through it, one a night. And it just happened to coincide with you doing the season 2 finale. So I parachuted in to talk about this.
Where are you? So I don't think I mentioned this to you. We do non-spoiler. So we just talk about what's come before and in the episode. Where are you guys?
I am here.
You haven't started 3 yet?
No, I don't know anything to come. Right. No.
Cool. Also, I can finally wear my Margot with an eye patch shirt and it not be a spoiler. I'm very excited. Good. Yeah, so we're here for the season 2 finale. May, what did you think revisiting it for this?
I did not remember all of this stuff happening in one episode. I definitely thought some of it was relegated to the season 3 premiere.
Yes.
But rewatching it, I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense that all of this stuff needs to happen before we start season 3. But I think as a season finale overall, this is pretty good. It wraps up a lot of stuff. It introduces things that we're going to be contending with next season. And it has the first appearance of my queen, Candace Kane, as the fairy queen. And God, I have loved her for a really long time. She's been an out trans woman in the entertainment industry
for a really long time, right?
Yeah, for quite a few years. And I've just always found her incredibly stunning and incredibly entertaining. So it's nice to see her here in such a different light than she's normally seen.
I've read a few interviews with her where like she seemed to really love doing this, and I feel like you can kind of tell, right? Like,
yeah, I feel like if she could have guested on Buffy in some capacity, she would have lost her mind.
I love that. Kim, what do you think revisiting it?
I didn't remember that Ember basically does the whole like recap in the beginning at all. Like that was completely devoid from my memory, and it made me really happy because it recapped like the whole show up until this point, and I thought that was really good self-awareness for everything that we were about to get. Honestly, Ian, I was like, I can kind of see why Ian stopped watching after the end of season 2, after this season finale. I kind of had that in mind, knowing that that's something that had happened. So it wasn't my favorite season finale ever, but also I'm currently ill. I have COVID. So maybe my brain just isn't working as good as the rest of y'all's, and it was actually as phenomenal as May just said it was. Who knows? But I was less impressed than I thought I was going to be. I will say, I don't know if y'all are interested in or have seen Murderbot, but the finale, it felt a little bit like the finale to the first season of Murderbot did, which I watched the other day, which I was like, okay, I totally understand, having read all the Murderbot books, why this is happening, but I think it's boring for everyone who doesn't understand what is going to happen in the next one, because it wasn't really an exciting finale. And I felt like this one, like, the most important glorious things that mattered to me happened in the previous episode.
This is, again, I mean, I've said this a million times, especially towards the end of the season. I'm kind of like, I don't really remember everything that's happened, even though I've been on for every single episode. I'm like, but I enjoyed it. I thought we did a good job wrapping up. There's a point when I'm like, the episode should have ended here, but we'll get there. I liked it enough. I think the Magicians finales tend to do a little bit too much of like, we resolved that. Now here's 20 minutes of setup for what's coming. And I don't always need that. But I still thought it was fun to watch. Anthony, it's your first time watching this episode. What did you think? What did you think of like this season and then this episode?
I seem to recall the end of season 1 is also kind of a structural shift, right? That's the one where we get the rapid fire chapters, right? Where Quentin is sort of narrating a series of, is that right? Or is it the one before the finale?
God, I don't even, it ends with them all like kind of dying is what it ends on, is what I remember.
I remember the end of season 1 does this thing where it like rapid fire moves through so many plots, giving like chapter breaks. That I'm told from my partner replicate the chapters from the book.
Yeah.
I found the Ember frame device at the beginning really interesting. It also is funny watching it sort of like, we did this thing, we didn't have time to explain that thing, or maybe we'll explain it again someday. But like, it does sort of feel like something happens in the writer's room where this show is like, oh, we didn't do all that, but we gotta like flagpole it somehow really fast here at the end. I thought the Ember frame was really cute. I also was delighted to see Candace Cain in this. It's sort of, it's a great role for her, but also like, as with so much of this show, it's like activating a bunch of tropes of like queerness equals fairiness. Like there's that TikTok meme of like Klimash where she's like, the fairy world is an allegory for the queer experience that won't make it into the movies. And like, there is something of like casting a trans woman to be queen of the fairies here. But like her performance is so wonderfully unearthly. And also like kind of against the type she's always given of like, like she came up with RuPaul. Like this was like very much like a Yas Queen kind of thing. She's been asked, she's in Tu Wong Fu. Like, so having her be allowed to be this very scary presence and sort of the makeup is also really doing an amazing job, but like, I found her really spooky and compelling. It similarly was nice to see, Leonard Roberts in this. I'm sure you've talked about him already, like Forrest Gates himself back in this.
Doing a much better job here than on Buffy, if I'm going to be honest.
Yes.
I mean, I am spoiled for one thing, which is that I know he's only in one more episode, which seems really disappointing to me, because he's really interesting here. And also like, there feels to me like something really pointed and political, given his statements during the pandemic about what a nightmare working on Heroes was and how his white castmate refused to kiss him. So like this kiss with
right, that was him. I forgot that was him. Yes.
Yeah, so like this very beautifully shot kiss between him and Elliot here with the sort of sun coming through right at the spot where they kiss is really lovely. Yeah, so I'm sad to hear he's not in much more. I don't know if this counts as a spoiler, but I get why a show like this feels the need to sort of pitch you on its next season, especially if it's like, we're going to be canceled. And one of the ways you keep from being canceled is to be like, we're going to do all this. If you cancel us, it's unresolved.
I wish that had worked for Dark Matter. The older Dark Matter, not the one that was on this year.
I also like the way that this finale sort of recognizes the weaknesses of this season. Like it's very explicit about like, we're all kind of bored of the whimsy of fillery and would like to transition to something more interesting. Like Ember's boredom is performing, I think, a sense from the writer's room that this has become our two most compelling characters specifically are stuck in our least compelling plot, I think, which is the fillery stuff. So I'm excited to see what happens next. I don't know if we leave fillery behind or what, but
I just need everyone to know that when Anthony and I were talking about it, that was the one you were like, I think you hadn't finished yet. You were like,
no,
I need them to leave fillery. And I was like,
yeah. Or change its stakes. Like, I do feel like I love this show when it is about, I mean, Ember gives you a point by point of like, these are the major themes of this show. Like sublimated trauma endures, character is destiny. Like they clearly understand the engine of the show. And yet sometimes we're stuck in plots where like, everyone's a rat. Why? Like, it's not, sometimes it just feels like we're moving furniture around. And that's when I get a little bored. Yeah, so I'm hoping something else happens now.
As Kim mentioned, season 2 was when I first gave up on the show, but then she convinced me to go back. And then season 3 genuinely is like fantastic through and through. Like, I feel like it's got a lot of Buffy where like season 3, I think, is when they become the most comfortable in their storytelling. And they're like, yeah, we don't need to, we can like expedite the fantasy shit. We don't need to do these step-by-step things. And they seem like so confident in their characters, in Elliot and Margot in particular. They become very confident in those characters, which I think this season probably showed them like, oh, wait, these two characters are like fucking fantastic. Let's use them even more and let's use them better. So yeah, I do think season 3, like, I feel like if you're still there, you're going to like season 3. But yeah, this episode's a little bit of sometimes even Anthony, like you mentioned, the rat stuff. It's like kind of just breeze by that. It's like it felt like someone had that on a board in the writer's room. They're like, let's use that, but they didn't really like think about how they were going to use it because that kind of is like a nothing. And then when Leonard Roberts comes in, I was even like, wait, they're not rats anymore? Like, right. And Dominic Burgess, he's been on a few times. He loved doing this show. And I feel like that makes sense because he's so good as Ember, and like the like whimsy mixed with like the tyrannical god who is like, oh, I'm bored. I want to destroy all of you and I'm going to kill everyone in this world. No big deal. Is just really good. Yeah, I loved him narrating. There was something he says in that narration that I was like, and no spoilers, I have no fucking clue. When he talks about the witch and he's like, we'll go back to that later.
Yeah, don't worry, that'll pay off. I wrote that down and I was like, I love this, but
Not
also
yet.
don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember at all. I was like, is she in this episode? And then she was not. But whatever. So yeah, all before the credits here, we get what is it? Quentin goes to see Alice at Mayakovsky's place. Weird that Mayakovsky's not in this episode, but we are at his like.
He seems to be expensive. Whenever that actor is credited, he gets an "and" as Mayakovsky, which means that actor is for some reason quite pricey. So he's like an expensive guest star.
He's a good actor.
He is, and I guess like. Maybe Marlee Matlin is the one that got the more expensive. Like they're like, well, we can only afford one of those two.
And she's so good.
Maybe there's only one person who can do a Russian accent in Vancouver. Maybe that's
Oh yeah. Quick thing about Ember's recap. He says something about babies being born without mouths, and I did not remember anything about that.
I think that's new. Yeah, I think that's new footage.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't remember that happening before, and my memory for these things is usually pretty good. So that was just like and by the way, this thing is happening in our magical world.
That felt to me like, ooh, that was a scene we had to cut out of an episode ago or 2 episodes ago. We can throw it in here. Yeah, so we get he's talking to Alice. She wants to be left alone. We revisit Penny in the infirmary. He's dying.
He's got cancer plus.
Magical cancer.
Yeah. Magical cancer from the radiation in the poison room. What is it? Then where do we go? Penny's in the infirmary.
And then Elliot visits Julia. Who is, oh God. This scene is so fucking heartbreaking. And it really ties into what I was talking about on our recording on the previous episode about what happens when you have had essentially no emotions for a good amount of time due to a traumatic event. And all of those emotions come back. And then all of a sudden, all you're doing is reliving your trauma over and over again, despite your best efforts to work through it, to move on from it, to distract yourself. It's like there's nothing you can do, at least for a little while, until your body lets you process it. And because she had all of that come back at once after a bunch of things in a row, she's really suffering. And again, just very relatable for me, especially 2 summers ago.
And I love Elliot in this scene. I love, he's kind of just there to get this amulet, but he like, I don't know. It's almost like he cares about her by like via Quentin, right? Because he does genuinely care about Quentin, and he knows that she means a lot to Quentin. And also he just know, like, and the heist episode, which I love the line when he's like, also, we're emotionally mature. We can hold resentment and feel bad for you at the same time.
Yeah.
And
it's holding a dialectic.
Who wouldn't feel like, even if this was someone I fucking hated, I would still feel bad for them, right? It's like,
also that all like feels, that betrayal feels so long ago to us. So I can imagine,
it really
like,
does.
In real time, we can imagine them being like, yeah, you know, the beast is dead now, and sure, yeah, we can
Alice
kind
is
of
back.
Put that, yeah, we can put this aside for me not letting you suffer here and bringing you on a great big adventure that you need.
And because she even asked, she's like, why do you care? And he's like, I just do. Like,
yeah.
I don't
There's
want
a weird thing
here.
with the timelines too, and I don't know. I mean, it seems like the show is like, please do not worry about this, but we are to understand time is moving faster in Fillory, right?
Yes.
Like, there is a weird
but they
way
don't
where
necessarily age faster.
Right, yeah.
I see. Because I did wonder, like, is he going to be 30 by the time they're like, is he going to be 10 years on them? Is he still in school? It seems like he's not. Like, I guess. Like,
I was looking because at the end when they're like in school again, I was like, are Elliot and Margot? No, they're not there. Okay, so I guess they're not. Like, they dropped out of magic school to be kings and queens, which is a good reason. Yeah. But yeah, I just love that he like gots her. Like, I got a little teary eyed when he does say like, want to come off the couch and save all of magic with me? Like, it just, I don't know. It was nice.
I think it's a credit to Hale Appleman too, that like, on the page, you could play this scene quite flippantly, and there's a version of Elliot that could have just been very much just like, I'm a party boy who's being king, and instead he really, this whole episode suffuses the performance with this strange kind of gravitas and like groundedness that feels actually to be playing against a lot of the written lines. Like he's putting a depth to Elliot that feels done in a way the other characters aren't. Like he's kind of at the end of the board and is like, I am just king now. Like it's hard to actually see another storyline for Elliot, which is kind of an interesting problem. I imagine going into season 3 is like, what's his job now? And I don't know if we're just going to be doing this political thing again. I'm not sure what that is a metaphor for anymore, but like, he's really good. He's excellent.
There's a reason all three of us are silent as you're talking about this.
But you're 100% right about his acting and the way that he could have played, you know, Elliot, not necessarily Hale I'm talking about, but I agree with everything you said about Hale. Like Elliot could have been one way, could have been saying these things in one way, but instead like that maturity sort of overrides. And I think in the previous episodes, we've kind of got like, well, he's got to make this decision. I remember earlier in the season, like he goes to visit Dean Fogg and Fogg's like, I don't know what to tell you. Like if you're going to be king, you got to be a king. Like or you can stay here and do drugs and get drunk, like up to you. And he kind of makes the decision to be king and do drugs.
And it is kind of something that I wish, like structurally, Ember is a good foil for him, right? Like he's a party boy who, when he gets bored, throws it all away. And I do wish there had been a bit more of that, like a bit more of like, actually you do have to grow up and like take care of things sometimes, as like a question that the script is asking that instead the actor has decided to ask, which I find really amazing. That's really what you wish for in an actor.
Anthony, it's funny. You're saying basically what we all like. I relate this cast a lot to Buffy, where it's like, if the actors weren't so good, this writing would not be so would not have like come out so well. Like it wouldn't, the characters, we wouldn't have cared about them so much regardless of the writing if the actors weren't so good. Because I do think a lot of these folks, I am very surprised, did not go on to like do a ton of other shit. Because they like bring it with these characters and they always commit to whatever goofy fucking shit they have going on.
I feel the same way about Killjoys, and you know, the actors from that have certainly done seemingly a bit more than a lot of the Magicians actors have since the show ended. But it's the same sort of thing where they are bringing top tier performances to a cable show. And that's not something you always get or expect. And it's really refreshing here. And we've talked a lot on here about how well made this show is in general. Even the CGI for a, I'm gonna guess, mid-budget sci-fi original show, everything on the show looks good, sounds good, and the performances match that.
Yeah, I feel like they were aware of their budget constraints, and they're like, we're going to work within that. We're not going to try to do something that's too, like, we're not going to show the whole dragon because it won't look good.
Yep, that's exactly what I was about to say. We're not going to show the whole dragon, but we're going to show you part of the dragon, and it's going to look great and be a character like all of the other characters on the show.
Not just
I'm just obsessed with the 1,000 different ways they have made the one fillery set be like 6 different places. Like it's Loria and it's the fairy realm, and it's like it's truly just the one room that is like all over the place all the time. It's amazing.
One room to rule them all.
That's literally in Break Bills. There's only that one classroom they ever go into.
There's 2 Break Bills that are identical.
Apparently, Anthony, that is a college in Vancouver that they first shot at, and then they just rebuilt whatever rooms for like sets.
This is a very Vancouver show. Very often it's like, that's just the place from Battlestar, and that's just the place from X-Files. Yeah.
Someone on one of the episodes was like, yeah, that's clearly where Batman and Joker fight in Dark Knight Rises. Like, that's the scene whenever they're like outside in the street or something. But so post-credits, we're going to talk about Penny and Katie because they have like kind of the shortest thing. Julia and Elliot have arrived at Break Bills. Penny and Katie run into her. He's kind of like, I'll leave you two alone. Katie is still not speaking to Julia. I kind of wish at this point she's like, well, all right, you did get your shade back. All right, we did, like, he is, because she even says to Penny that he's gone. She should be happy that he's gone, but it didn't happen the way she wants it to.
I think that we want Katie to be, we want her to be more forgiving, but also, like, we know Katie well enough to be like, well, of course, you're not going to very easily forgive Julia like the rest of us would want you to, 1. And 2, now Penny has magical cancer and she's got something else to be mad about.
That's true.
I get it.
I'm just checking. She has relapsed, right? She is a heroin addict. Is that correct? Yeah. She casually mentions, very casually in this episode, that she has relapsed, right?
Yeah, she says that
I missed that.
Yeah, no, she very clearly says that she says, don't worry, I'm just strung out.
Right.
And then she's like, just tell Penny I found somewhere to shoot up dope.
Yeah.
And like, she's not joking. She's just like, all of this has fucked me up so bad that yes, I am using again. And that is understandable. I mean, everything that she went through to help Julia, and then Renard just gets a get out of jail free card with his mommy.
Yeah.
I would be fucking devastated. And then to also find out that the man that you are reluctantly in love with is dying and has very little time left. And every time you try to do something to help him, the library is like, whoop.
JK. Like,
yeah.
I love when Penny says, of course you're upset. I'm the best slay of your life. So good.
I love his cutesy arrogance, because is he being a little bit of a dick there? Yeah. Is he right? Almost certainly. And he's being cheeky about it. He's not being like, you can't leave me because I'm the best slay of your life. He's being self-deprecating at the same time as he's being self-congratulatory. And that's why Arjun is great, because he balances those two tones without it feeling awkward.
Yeah.
This is the character I worry about the most. At a structural level, like, she has never actually had her own plot. She gets hooked into a Julia plot, and then she gets hooked into a Penny plot. Her suffering is always in service of their plots. Like, I don't really know. I don't quite see what her arc is. So I worry about her headed into this next season.
For me, I do think she is one of the weaker links of the group. I always wonder, Anthony, I don't know if you get this vibe. I always wonder, like, because she's not until this end does she become like a main character. I always wonder if they just kind of liked her and they're like, all right, yeah, now we're going to use her more. And they kind of were like, well, we got to figure out as we go along. We weren't intending for her to be in the show this much.
I felt like her early performance was really not working for me when she was like, I'm a bad girl and I caused trouble at the school. And it's like, this doesn't land for me. And the actress has found a softer tone and like made the scripts have made the choice that that's like a performance she was doing. But now I'm like, okay, I don't know. I feel like maybe someone should notice you are mentioning over and over again that you are relapsed, and like Julia gets a nice scene with Elliot on the couch where it's like, oh, it's so sad that you're feeling this way. No one has checked in with her whatsoever, and she seems to have no structure in the storytelling that allows that. So, I mean, it's interesting to be worried about her, but I would like to see her get to do something that is her own story instead of like the +1 on all these fetch quests that the other ones are getting.
That's understandable. Yeah. I think that kind of explains why, to me, she always felt a little weaker, because it's like, okay, but what are we doing? I do think May and Kim, you might be able to agree or disagree. I do think they give her more to do moving. Like, I think she becomes a like main cast member, like billed as one moving forward.
Spoiler free, yes.
Yes. So yeah, as they're like, she's like, I have a place where we can go. They get teleported away to the library. And the librarian doesn't really say, but we're assuming we are to assume, right, that it's what's going on in Fillory, that's why she's like, there is something bad happening, right?
Yeah, and we're all leading to the Great Blank Spot.
Okay, because I was like, is this leading to something next season, or is this about what's happening right now? I couldn't quite. But yeah, I did feel bad when she's like, you can say goodbye real quick, and before they even like finish a sentence, she's
because Katie's too busy yelling at him. So
yeah, I was like, please just stop fighting because you're gonna go. Oh, wait, you already teleported. All right, we're gonna check in with Fillory. I do like Margot and Josh having a team up. I like when they have to be together. They go to see Fen, and I do feel really bad for Fen.
Yeah.
Fen is another character where, to your point, Anthony, I do feel like sometimes it's just, especially here, where it's like, oh, she just has bad things happen because of where she is, but she's not like...
Well, she was introduced as a blocking character. Like, she exists to be a problem for Elliot.
Right. And then she's Elliot's wife, and then she's the mother of Elliot's child. She is very tied to Elliot, similarly to how Katie gets tied to various people.
Yeah.
And within that, she does great, because that actor is wonderful and just so charming.
She's very likable.
Again, from what I remember, she does get a lot more to do later on.
Yeah.
She's most interesting to me when she's representing like the indigenous population of Fillory. Like when she is sort of tied to this like uprising, it's like, oh, now you're interesting. But then that immediately kind of fell away. And then she was like,
well, now
I've gone
she's
crazy because of a baby, you know?
Yeah, which is the least... we get a lot of plot in this show very, very quickly, and that is the least dwelled upon one. And you know, we talk about Katie's trauma, we talk about Julia's trauma, but like, she was just pregnant and had her child ripped away from her, and we don't spend any time with that. It just happened, and she's devastated, and that's it. And I know it's not everyone's favorite plot line, but like, good God. You know, like, I understand not dwelling on it. I know babies on the set are the worst, but like, we really just like, as show writers, just moved on and away from that very quickly in this episode. And I'm curious to, now that I'm a mother and I'm going to watch the 3rd season, see how I feel about how and if they even deal with that trauma in a way that I appreciate in the 3rd season that I love so much.
There's a lot of stuff in this season that deals with bodily autonomy, especially for the women characters. And I think both Julia and Fen, they're on opposite ends of the being pregnant spectrum, where Fen is delighted that she's going to have a baby, and it's hopefully going to bring her and Elliot closer, but that baby is stolen from her. Whereas Julia, because the baby was brought about by something horrible, all she wants is it out of her. And once it is, that takes away her soul. And so it's just very interesting to have those two things juxtaposed together, especially in this latter half of the season.
I did catch that Josh says time moves faster in the fairy world, which to me is like, ding, 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 that kid's coming back as an adult very soon.
I didn't even catch him saying that.
Yeah, I love when this opening to when we're in Fillory and Fen is like just completely devastated, and he's explaining very, very slowly to her how Whitespire and the fairy realm are occupying the same place. So I just loved how he got to slow down for us too, even though he's doing it because like he's just describing it like he would to a second grader because of Fen's condition. But I was like, thank you for this moment. Thank you.
Here's why we're once again on the same set.
Do any of you? I didn't know which Star Trek episode he was referencing. Because I was like, oh, mirror, mirror. No, wait, that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about time being sped up. So I don't know what episode he's talking about.
There is an episode of Voyager where they encounter a planet that rotates extremely fast. And so time down there moves faster than it does on Voyager. And they believe Voyager is like a deity up in the sky, and that's what gets them to develop a space exploration program. And then they send Jin from Lost up there to make first contact.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and the Doctor, I believe, is stuck down on the planet and becomes a famous opera singer.
Yes.
I believe that's the same episode. Yeah, I do not remember the title of it, but once again, autism.
Man, sometimes Star Trek plots are like more ridiculous than you even like remember.
I was delighted to see this actor working, Josh. He as soon as I saw him, I was like, I know this actor, and he's Freddie Crane from Frasier. When Frasier has a son, this is his son. He was like a child actor on that show. And then when they did the relaunch, they cast a hotter guy to play Freddy. So this guy didn't get to come back. But
that's rude because Josh is great.
Yeah. They go to see the Fairy Queen because the fairies already know that they're there. The fairies are consistently one step ahead of everyone. I think the fairies are maybe the best. I don't even want to say capital V villains, but they're such a good antagonist for Margot. That I do think, in a non-spoiler way, Anthony, they help her arc a lot.
Yes. And this is the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Her sacrificing her eye is the beginning of it.
And I like that the Fairy Queen, and this is consistent, right? She's like, I don't like you. I don't want, but we do have a common like enemy in Ember, so I'm going to help you because it behooves all of us for you to stop him. So she gives them whatever that plant is and says, I liked what she's like, you will. And Margot's like, I know this one, bake it into little cakes. He loves little cakes. And the Fairy Queen, Candace Cain's acting is a really good foil to Summer Bishel's act. Like, not even character-wise, but I think they're acting because Candace Cain is so, like, her delivery is, you're annoying me. And I know that I'm 10 steps ahead of you. And Margot is very reactionary, where she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And this Fairy Queen is not pressed by any single thing any of these fucking people say. And I think that's, like, Margot is intimidating. Margot is severe, but not to the Fairy Queen. The Fairy Queen's like, what she calls her, like a rude earth child. I love it.
And Josh is just there doing Josh things, like just like the happy, you know, like stoner who's always trying to make a joke of everything as like a third kind of like personality.
He's just Josh.
Just Josh.
I'll see myself out. Bye.
they? I do wonder because like we end that scene where she's like, well, there's the toll. She's like washing her leg in the bath and she's like, there's a toll you have to pay. I was wondering, like, is it just like you're gonna pay a toll? She teleported them back, and they did not know what it was till they got there, or like I was curious because Josh, we just don't see him when they teleport back. So I was curious.
No, she says after I've exacted the toll, which does make it sound like they're gonna go do some work to exact it, like Yeah, right. I'm doing hand motions if you're listening that look like what you might do to exact an eyeball.
Exaction, extraction, same diff.
Elliot and Quentin, he is asking about Alice. Hugh is having a mental breakdown. Anthony, I'm curious what you think about Elliot and Quentin's dynamic. This was like a very big shift when the show was on the air. Like
as duo. It should be. I think that actually the actors have an intense amount of chemistry with each other in a way that honestly I do not think, I forget his name, but I do not think Quentin and Alice have any chemistry whatsoever. So I'm really baffled that this is like a love story I'm supposed to be invested in. Like Alice is not interested, like at a character level, is not really feeling this at all. But also like, I like Alice as a character quite a bit, although it took me a long time because like,
same.
The first season, she's like, I'm just a nerd. And it's like, you are like one of the most objectively hottest, like central cat. The show has kind of a problem where like everyone is kind of too hot.
Yes.
And like her character really suffers the most for it. We're like, but I'm in glasses. And it's like, but as she's kind of progressed, she's become this sort of, I like this idea of a character who, and this episode really nails it, like who struggles with like how gross being in a body is, who is an incredibly cerebral character who doesn't like being touched, who doesn't like having to think about food and sex. So that's why I actually really respond well to the Niffin plot that she has.
Okay.
But the Quentin stuff just lies there. Whereas you put Quentin and Elliot together and it's like these two spark at a level that is so compelling that almost like it's neat when we get these flare-ups of the sexual between them because they've already had that three-way. But I genuinely understand that these two people are friends in a way that Hale Appleman only really gets to interact with Quentin and Margot, really. And like it's like, oh yeah, like they really care about each other. I love scenes where they're in together. Like they really play so well together.
They do, right? Like we talked about it yesterday when we recorded the second to last episode, like when they're talking and Quentin kind of just slides out of his chair because he's just so frustrated and Elliot's like, oh, that's what we're doing. So he slides out of his chair with him. And like, they have like such a good dynamic. And like you said, I'm not even sure, like, I almost think sometimes it's a little bit of the like Steve Rogers and Bucky where it's like not quite written, but the actors just have the chemistry.
It was funny, like, because I watched the episode twice. I watched it a few days ago, and then I watched it, like, right before we hit record. And in my head, I was like, oh, this really sweet scene. And then I watched it, I was like, there's almost nothing on the page. Like, this is all these two actors deciding that they're going to play this as, like, these are two people who are incredibly, they have a shorthand, they have an intimacy that they just play. I really liked it because he's just getting him. He's just like, I need you for this thing. I need someone to be a fanboy. There's nothing there, but Appleman and what's his name just nail it.
Yeah.
Jason Ralph.
What a handsome boy. I wish they'd cut that hair.
I love that.
See, with the hair there, you have something to grab onto.
It's so floppy and over ironed. When he shows up with that haircut and that he's so mean on Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and I'm just like, oh, it's so cute.
Does he play a mean? I can't even imagine.
Oh yeah, he's like the executive producer. He's
what season is that?
Yeah.
Husband, yeah, Lois Lane herself, Rachel Brosnahan,
yeah. Kim asked what season. I've never watched the show.
Me neither.
Towards the end, he's an executive producer at one of the TV networks when she starts to become really famous.
And wait, he's married to her, right? That is
he's married to her.
Yeah.
He's kind of house husbanding these days. I looked at his credits, and it's like, oh, he's just kind of like his wife is Lois Lane. He doesn't have to work.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, they kind of we cut to, he says the thing, I need a fanboy. We cut to him going to see Umber. And what is it? Like, he kind of, Umber, I really like the way both Umber and Ember interact with the humans, because Ember at times did seem to get a kick out of everyone, right? Like, he did seem to kind of like them, but then very quickly he's like, all right, but I'm bored. I did like you people, but I'm bored.
Right, because for him, it's just watching a TV show. That's all it is. It's that's why his narration at the beginning works so well, because it's a metatextual analysis of what this is. It's a piece of entertainment, but your emotional investment in the thing determines how much you are willing to just walk away from it. And for us, we're very emotionally invested in it. We're emotionally invested in the characters and their various storylines. And Ember's just like, well, I created this show and I don't really like it anymore, so I'm just going to scrap it and do something else now. Because for him, it's inconsequential. He doesn't think of them as real people. He thinks of them as characters.
Yes, and I don't know what it is about that I just really like that, because it's not like, even Umber here, he's like, well, we're gonna visit the pocket dimension formerly known as Cuba, and he like has linguini and he's just taking notes, right? He's like,
the difference, I guess, I like the difference though, because Umber really
there is a difference in
care what Q thinks, and
yes,
Ember,
even though he gets mad, he does care. Yes,
whereas Ember's just like, you're not entertaining me, sorry. So like, I don't know. It's you want to, as a human, I don't know, as a viewer of the show, but in this, you want to be rooting for one of them. You want to be rooting for chaos or organization, or like the neat combination of the two of them. You want them to work nicely together. So it's nice that Umber does care what they think, and it's nice that, well, things got to be fun sometimes too. So I really liked that the differences weren't just the chaos in the organization, but how they cared about and for the people whom they, because Umber's creating that world for people. Like, those are chairs that humanoid figures will sit in. He himself is a horned humanoid figure. So
yeah, and doesn't he even say, like, he says something to Q before they go there, where he's like, I forget what he says, but he's like, no, you're right. Let's come with me and restart this universe. And like, he does seem to he does seem to like Quentin, but then very quickly, what is it when he's like, I forget, like, when Umber puts the linguini on and asks Q if he's happy, and Q kind of explains whatever, and he's like, I like you, boy, but I do have a temper, because he's like,
brings up Ember.
Yeah. Right, that's what it is. So I wrote down just his like quote about being angry, but yeah, and I also like that it's a little bit of like Glory from Buffy, where it's like, these are like just like silly dudes, but then also they remind you that they can like kill you very easily, right? Like,
well, and like Ember is, yes, he's very chaotic and very bemused by everything, and he will just destroy things at a whim, because the whimsy of them is not entertaining him anymore. Whereas Umber is very insecure.
Yeah. Umber is a nerd.
His penchant for order, organization, and the structure of things requires approval from people, even if those people are quote unquote below him in the natural order of things. He still wants to be seen as a good creator, a good engineer. He wants people to like him. Ember doesn't give a fuck about that. And that's why they need each other. They need each other to balance out. It's, if you're going to be creating a world, it needs to have balance.
Can I just say I like their names? The
Ember and Umber.
Like, one is the thing that burns and one is the thing that polishes. It's really clever. Like,
it took me until like this season of us covering it where I could remember which one was which. I was always like, I can remember which one's Umber. Like, I would always forget. We'll go to Fillory. Elliot enters and tells Prince S to get the fuck off his throne. I wish Prince S and Idri did a little bit more. It does feel like their plot is kind of like, well, we're done with that. Because it's like 2 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. But that kiss is so magical. Maeve, my roomie, was sitting with me while I was watching the episode and taking my notes. And I'm like, as they're starting to kiss, I'm just slapping her leg like, and then they kiss and I go, oh.
And the way, it's like they have this quick talk and then is it like Idri just isn't there anymore? Is that like we cut away and then we go back and he's just not there anymore?
Yeah, I mean, he says he's going to go back to Loria to be there for his people, whatever's coming. But
he also believes Elliot won't fail.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah, he does seem to have genuine affection for Elliot. He's not just like, oh, if we get married, it'll bring our kingdoms together. This is diplomatic. They like each other.
And I do think they have pretty good chemistry. Like, for the little we get of it, I do think I like it. We get a big flash of light, a portal opens, and in come Margot and Josh.
You dick, I'm a Cyclops.
I love that we quickly... Summer's delivery, and like I know I say this all the time, blah, 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 but like her delivery here when they're talking about it, I think is so good because she's on the verge of tears, but she doesn't want to fucking cry, right? Like when he sees it, and this is again, like their friendship is so beautiful, and their friendship, I mean, they're cooler than us, Kim, but it reminds me of me and Kim a lot. Like, he's immediately forgiving of her. He immediately feels bad. He doesn't like that this happened to his best friend, but she is like, I know I fucked up and I'm going to keep trying. Like, I'm really sorry Fen didn't come with us, but I do still want to try to make this better.
And she promises, she'll like, I will keep trying to get, Fen and your daughter back. And it's like, at this point, what else can she say? What else can she do? He can be like, no, fuck you. Like, this is over. Like, we're no longer friends because you did this. But she's like, I was under duress. I made a bad choice. And she doesn't say I wouldn't have made the same choice again, but like she admits it was a bad one. And their friendship's bigger than that. And that's really hard to have. It's really hard to have that kind of friendship. And I think they just play it so well. It's so believable that he would
they just move on, right?
Forgive her. Yeah, but like the things that needed to be said are said and they're heard and they're meant.
Yeah. Yes.
Can we briefly...
No one is faking it. Yeah, what?
Just very unimportantly, the destroyed chairs are now undestroyed. That's all.
I did notice that. I was like, oh, okay, because I didn't remember them being destroyed, and then I was like, oh, well, they're back. All right, never mind.
My favorite scene of the previous episode, Josh destroys them. They must have more chairs somewhere.
And like when he's like, are you crying out of your good eye? She's like, it's not my good eye. It's my only fucking eye.
It's not funny.
Yes. And like they even say, she says, we can't blow past this with banter. But Elliot says like, wait, I wrote this down and I'm not sure who even says what. I think Elliot says, unless we do what we do best. And she says, lash out with a lack of impulse and empathy control. Yes. I love them.
And then he says, no, party like the world's ending.
Yep. I also like how bored they are at this party when he says, like, I threw better orgies when I was 10.
Especially because we get the scene first, right? So we get the orgy, quote unquote, scene. We get the people, we get the dancing, and I'm like, oh, that looks nice. That looks fun. Yeah. That looks a little circusy. And then like as soon as they say it, you're like, no. This just doesn't compare to the cottage's prime days.
Like, I love the two of them, like, waving bored, looking fantastic, being like, oh, God, this sucks. But then who enters, May? Who sees the cakes?
Ember. He's so excited because someone finally brought him little cakes, which is what he wanted last season.
Josh is wearing the cutest little chef outfit in this. Like
oh my God,
it's like a Felorian chef hat and outfit. It's not an Earth chef outfit. And I just love him in this moment of glory when he brings out the cakes. And then, Ember does appear. Yeah, love it.
I love that Josh isn't just like, yeah, I'm a good cook, or yeah, I'm the drug guy. He's like, no, I am a fucking chef, and I am going to dress the part.
Yeah. And I like that Ember is like, didn't I banish you? And Elliot's like, well. And he's like, that's unexpected. I love it. Like, it really is just like, these are his toys and he's playing with them. And he's like, oh, cute, a surprise. I didn't expect that. He's never pressed by literally anything they do, because even up to his death, right? He's still like, oh, huh. Crazy. That was a surprise. He's so good.
May was talking earlier about the metatextual nature of the thing we get before at the opening of the show, the recap that Ember gives. And I loved this part because it seems like now the show's doing it, not just the recap, where Quentin is trying to pitch like, no, season 2 of Fillory is going to be better. And he uses the word pitch at one point, which I thought was great. He's like, here's the pitch. And just talking about it, like, we know we messed up, but like, here's how we're going to improve. And then Ember says like, oh no, well, we won't do that, or we'll do this. It's like they're trying to please this producer. And I just thought it was so weird, because it is a television show we're watching that's like making this commentary. And I'm like, are we doing the thing where you're trying to also convince your audience that you promised season 3 of The Magicians is going to be better than season 2 of The Magicians? Are we aware of this? Because that seems maybe too self-aware. And I definitely didn't think all of this when I watched it the first time, but just knowing how much better season 3 is, even though I loved season 1 and 2, I got all in my head about it.
Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, I like the pitch. Elliot literally says, I promise it'll be less whimsical and more meaner from now on. There is I think the show is very aware that it is let some of its key characters languish in a plot that feels less than interesting and also feels resolved. Like, that's really the problem, is like, all the fillery stuff is designed so specifically to be a critique of like this Chronicles of Narnia structure of storytelling for YA. It's like, well, there's a hero's journey, and we all learn about ourselves, and you're the chosen one. And when season 1 ends, which it takes part of season 2 to do, which is kind of weird, but like when the Quentin Alice of it all and Martin is handled, it feels like we should be done with this universe. Like, there's nothing actually left to glean, but some of our characters are still stuck in it. Not all of them, but some of them are still dealing with plots. And it's like, I don't really understand the engine of this part of the story anymore. Like, I understand Julia and Reynard is about sublimated trauma, and I understand less what Penny's doing these days too. But like Quentin, Alice, like I get it all. And then the fillery stuff, I'm like, I just don't know what you're doing with this, and I think the show doesn't either. And like, this is it sort of saying like, we promise we'll figure this out. I don't know if they do, but it seems to be a pretty earnest pitch of like, we've got to get rid of all this. Like when Elliot says at the end, like, we're all godless heathens now. It's time for the adulthood of our lives. Like, that feels like, okay, that's a theme now.
Penny, in my opinion, his plotline is about fighting the inherent structure and the gatekeeping of knowledge, both knowledge and power, that is perpetrated by governments and other institutions that essentially control people.
Oh, interesting.
And maybe I'm reaching there a little bit, but that's how it reads to me, especially as an anarcho-communist who wants to burn the fucking government down right now.
So that's fun to think about. Like, I mean, he's just at the end of this sort of been contracted to the library. So I'm interested to see. And I'm just like, I was talking to my partner about this, and he says that Penny has actually the least to do in the books. He just sort of teleports away at one point and just sort of drops back in. And like, I do feel like it's been wandering for him. Like, we had the hand stuff for a long time. So that's fun to hear
Way
too.
too
that, like,
long.
that'd be a really fun. Yeah. To the point where there's episodes where I'm like, I don't think he's actually in the room with any of them. Like, I think maybe the actor was busy somewhere. Like, we kept getting group shots and then Penny in a one shot over and over again. I was like, I bet he was filming something else and they had to be like, the hands or something. Like, he's just doing buffoonery in the background for a few episodes.
I know the hands are resolved. I don't even remember. Is it because he signed with the library? Do they just like...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the exchange. He signs up in servitude to the library in order to get his magic back, but because he's still in training, they haven't really returned it yet.
Oh.
All right. So everyone has converged because we're going back and forth between Ember talking about Umber and Umber talking about Ember, which I love. I always love we're going back and forth between these two characters. We know we're building to something. Umber gets pissed off at Quentin. He says, but we already are in Fillory. And I do think that's a good moment when Julia walks in with the snow globe that has Cuba in it and just shakes it.
I'm just never going to get over him calling it Cuba because it's a fucking cube.
I do love that.
It's just that goes to show how much he needs Ember, because that is the dumbest fucking name for a cube-shaped world. It's like when you're a kid and you get a wolf stuffed animal and you name it Wolfie. No shade to my best friend whose first stuffed animal is a dog that she named Doggy.
When I would write and draw my own comics as a kid, everyone's name were very this person has claws, so their name is Claws. This person can read minds, so their name is Mind. That would be every character I named.
This person wears a visor, so his name is Cyclops.
I know.
Or they would be fully just ripoffs of X-Men. Either or, one of the two. So the brothers come together, and Ember pretty quickly puts all the pieces together about, what is it, that the beast banished one. I just watched this episode.
The beast banished Ember and supposedly killed Umber. And he realizes, Martin wasn't actually as powerful as I thought. He's just really good at making deals. And he feels betrayed by his brother in multiple different ways.
I almost wish we got a little more here. I could have paused a little bit more on the what has happened, because we pretty quickly go to now Ember has killed Umber. He just kind of hand waves the Scoobies. They're thrown across the room and he kills his brother.
Yeah, that does make sense with his character though, because he is impulsive. He is quick to make rash decisions when something just kind of pokes him in the wrong way. And this is a big poke.
We needed Josh slowly narrating it for somebody on the side who didn't know what was happening.
I do like Julia picking up the sword, and I wrote down her lines, and she says, "Come and get me, you fucking baby." I do, because he basically is a big dumb baby. And she says, "I've met scary gods and you are nothing but a petty tyrant." It's so good, because also the things she's saying are correct, but she's also purposely antagonizing him.
Yeah. I also love that this is her with her shade saying this. So know she's pissed off.
Yeah.
And it's also just nice to see her get this is the first hero moment she's gotten?
This is the first full-on hero moment that she's gotten, where she's not fucking something up for someone while trying to keep her own interests as the primary thing.
So the question is, do the writers rob her of the kill because Quentin has to be the hero, or is that just the plan all along? That we know that Ember will go after him, and then we do magic and get the sword away to Julia, and then Julia doesn't have to kill the god again? ? I don't know. I wondered if it was.
I took it as that was all the plan, but I'm curious what everyone else thinks.
I think that was the plan, because otherwise, why would the sword suddenly transport from her hands to Quentin's hands while he was in the process of sneaking up behind Ember.
Okay.
I think that was definitely planned. And skipping ahead a little bit, Julia says to Quentin at the end of the episode, this was a two-hander. They both did this. It was their plan together.
That's what I thought at first, but then I was like, wait a second, is this just like Q's got to come in and save the day and actually mess everything up like always?
Honestly, I'm kind of glad Julia wasn't the one who stabbed him, because girl's got enough on her plate. She was already part of this plan. So yeah, I'm okay with Quentin being the one who kills Ember.
Yeah, she does not need anything else bad put on her shoulders. Ember dies, and I love that Ember is tickled by it being Quentin. I love, even to the fucking end, he's like, oh, always surprising me, and then fucking dies. Like, I just, like, that character, it also tracks that, like, he probably doesn't care that he's died, right? Like, he's, like, been alive for so long, he's probably just like, oh, I'm dying now.
Well, it's a surprise.
Like, this is interesting.
It's an exciting thing that happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
this is something new. How cute.
Yeah.
Death, how pedestrian. Like, I really liked it. And I like that he doesn't lose his whimsy. Like, we see him lose the whimsy with his brother. Like, he's fucking angry, but not in death, which I love. Margot says, holy fuck, looking at the dead gods' bodies. We get
the line about heathens. We are now a kingdom, officially a land of godless heathens. Yeah.
Entering our societal adulthood.
When she's like, here are some constitutions, let's rip off the best parts. Is it supposed to be like the
Earth constitutions?
Yeah,
I figured.
I do like when Elliot also is like, he's excited and trying not to break out into Hamilton. I did really like that. It's very of the time joke, but I still and then my notes say, it is insane there are 15 minutes less of this episode when we've wrapped up everything, because there are 15 minutes left,
and now we get the beginning of season 3.
This is kind of when I'm like, all right, we should have gotten like a beat and it could have ended.
It's kind of the opposite of what they did at the end of season 1 and the beginning of season 2. And I feel like they were like, well, let's flip the script. Let's do it differently. And I actually like this way better, personally.
Yes. If I have to pick one or the other, I don't love wrapping up the first season like 2 episodes into the next season. I don't know. Anthony, I'm curious. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it does sort of, I don't know the next season, but it does sort of indicate something kind of is off about the balance of season 2, that it both contains the finale of season 1 and the pitch of season 3, right? Like, that means that there's not enough material to tell a whole story in season 2. Like, what I couldn't tell you really, other than the Reynard the Fox stuff, what like the through line of season 2 itself was. I actually really
sublimated trauma.
Yeah, but like as like an event, like, yeah, I really actually liked some of the Martin stuff. I really hate that they depicted him, a sexual assault survivor, as also perpetrating, like, his wish to see kids at the park and stuff was really fucked up. But like, I thought that was an interesting beat, but it belongs to me natively to season 1. But I also get like, it does feel like for whatever reason, they feel like they really got to pitch you on season 3. And it's funny to me hearing, Ian, that it didn't work on you. You were like, well, I'm out.
But I love season 3. And like, literally I went back and season 3 is my favorite. So it eventually worked, but Kim had to convince me.
What made you bail? I guess that's kind of the thing that interests me. Like, what made you be like, I think I'm done?
I felt the same way I did feel the same way you do about Quentin and Alice. Retroactively, I like them a lot more. Like, now I appreciate the season 1 and 2 of it all, but watching it, I was like, this is too much heterosexual angst that I don't care about. And it's just a lot of both of them being mopey, and I really didn't like that. And the like Julia never catching a break, it felt like too much. She finally catches a break by the end here, but I think by that point it was like, oh god, but like, that's it.
Mad at her.
Yeah, like I felt like Alice and Quentin didn't work for me, and Julia, I liked the character, but I hated that it almost felt like she was in her own weird, like, torture porn horror movie that was, like, separate from everything else.
Yeah. I think I
And
remember you really feeling like the people who were the main characters of the show were unlikable, and the side characters were more likable. And because the main characters were, and not unlikable, but like, you know, everything you're saying about the main characters, right? Like the Alice, Quentin, and Julia of it. Yeah, and that's part of what like kept you out of it.
And Katie and Penny, I still feel like they're like, and haha, Ian saying this, Katie and Penny still on this rewatch are still, for me, they don't fully work. I think they work because they're both hot and they're both charming, but I don't quite give a shit about those characters together.
I think it only works for me when they present it as like it is just pure chemistry. These two just like to fuck and like.
Yes.
But when they try to imply something more, I'm like, because of what? Like, what? Part of it is that this is a thing that I've been tracking for the first 2 seasons as a person who writes like ensemble casts. It's like I find it really interesting and strange how much most of these characters hate each other or like present themselves like they hate each other. Like they're actually not close. Some of them I'm not even sure they know each other's names. Like it's like it's odd, especially someone who grew up on Buffy, where it's like I don't think these people would hang out if they didn't seem to keep being thrown together
to save the world or whatever.
Yeah, and like the Penny and Katie stuff in particular, I'm like, when she was using him, I understood it.
Yes.
But now I'm like, do you love him? Why do you love him? I don't know anything about him, actually. Do you? Like, they're the least sketched, except for her mom and stuff.
I think a little bit of that is going back to what you were saying before about the whole thing being like a not your YA name, the other YA that you said that I forgot. Yeah, like it's kind of that. It's like, well, what if like they didn't like each other? You know? So I think it's still in this season kind of recovering from that being the initial pitch of the way that the magician was sold, you know? And I think that I hope, get that maturity as we move forward where it's no longer reliant on breaking all of those tropes that you expect of the ensemble cast of a YA, etc.
I really do think by season, like immediately out the gate with season 3, they like course correct all of the like things that bothered me and that I still maybe didn't love about this season. But I retroactively enjoy all of it way more. And for me, Margot and Elliot were always the best characters and we weren't doing enough with them. And I feel like Margot and Elliot both are characters that do get like relegated to side characters, right? Because it is, I mean, everyone here writes shit. Anthony, you literally write comic books, so you have to balance a bajillion characters. They are the harder characters to make main characters, I think, because they are like big, and like they're funny and like they're kind of mean, but they do care. Like I do understand why the show maybe didn't make them so front facing immediately, but I do think in season 3 they become just as main characters as like everyone else.
And don't we also move away from the books more as we go forward? Like there's more seasons of the show than there are books. So I think maybe trying to stay closer to the books in the first 2 seasons, and we don't forget them as we move forward, but we do move away from them more.
And like Lev Grossman has on this podcast said he thought they did a better job with some of the storylines than he did. Like he, in his books, Anthony, did you read them? I don't know if you read them.
No, I haven't.
The ensemble isn't as much of much of an ensemble, right, Kim? Wouldn't you say that's true?
Yeah, and you said your partner did read them, yeah?
Yes, he was telling me that like they're very strongly POV'd.
Yeah.
So like Quentin doesn't know where Penny is. Penny is off. We don't know anything about what Penny's life is at all. So like these characters are being sketched in as the show develops.
Some people that love the books hate certain aspects of the TV show, but most people love the TV show just as much, if not more, which is weird.
That's his deal too.
As a writer to say something like that. I'm sorry, Anthony, what?
Oh, that's exactly my partner's experience. He loves the books. They're very different. Sometimes he'll be like, in this scene, Quentin is actually a dragon when this happens. And like, so like
and like Margot is not a character. That's why in season 1, when they go to the library, the librarian calls her Janet, because Janet's kind of the character, but she's a mix of two. Julia in the book, I remember, because I remember when watching the show, like, oh, she has a storyline. In the first book, it's just, she does not get into that school. They meet, I think, once, where she's like, I should have gotten in. And then that's all you see of her in that book. And they are like best friends that we just don't see interact till later. I'm always a fan of an ensemble as long as it works. And I think this ensemble really works. Season 3 has some of like my 2 favorite episodes of the series. I think season 3 that's where Kim and we have our key tattoos. It's from season 3.
Oh.
So we get the second half of the episode, I guess, or the final act. Q goes to visit Alice. She's kind of disassociating. Anthony, you mentioned, I do like that she's like, she ate and she's like, this is disgusting. I feel gross.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I like this about her. I like when they had that Friar Joseph character come along, I was like, oh, this is what this character is about, actually, is like sort of knowledge for its own sake, unfettered. She's kind of a Gnostic. She wants to be out of matter. She wants to be unlimited by morality. That's really interesting to me. But then I don't understand what Quentin is for her at all. Like what is the
He's
draw?
her anchor, tying her back to humanity. And there's a part of her that still feels very drawn to that because she is a person with feelings.
Right.
And so being a Niffin was freeing for her, and coming back to humanity feels suffocating, and it does not preclude her from her journey toward more and more knowledge. It just makes it a little more challenging.
But then to me, the character I want to pair her with then is Penny, who she does spark with, actually. Like, there's a lot, when they fuck, it's like, oh, this I get too, right? Like, because he is the hedonist. He is the one who's just like, what will be. And like, that I get. So like the Quentin part feels a little soggy to me. But when she's like locked in a room being like, I just want to be free of this, and is like eating the bacon and like, this is so good, but I'm so disgusting. And then they have their weird bacon sex. Like, I get that works for me. Yeah.
Of course that worked for you, Anthony. Like make it weird. Make it a weird lead into the sex. And you're into it.
It's so funny because if you remove the romantic and sexual aspect of all of their scenes together in this episode, this is basically me and my bestie when she's depressed. And I'm just like, I'm here to take care of you. And she's like, go fuck yourself. And I'm like, okay, but you're still going to take this medicine. And she's like, fine. And then I go away and I come back and she's like, fuck off. And I'm like, okay, I love you. And she's like, I'd like to be alone now.
They have sex, or no, wait, so we're just going to do this one in order. Katie meets back up with Marlee Matlin to discuss her helping with the library. It is bananas. She have an Academy Award, or was she nominated for one?
I believe she won.
For this like 2-second scene. But they kind of like, what is it? She's kind of going to use Penny as a double agent if that character will help her.
Whatever that character is doing, making knowledge free, maybe. Like that seemed to be what she was doing at BuzzFeed. So I guess that's
she's basically trying to deconstruct and eliminate the library, the Order's hold on knowledge as it exists for magicians. She wants it to be free. She's WikiLeaks essentially, but a very altruistic WikiLeaks. She's not doing it for personal gain. She's doing it because she believes knowledge should be available to everyone. So she is fighting against the systems, the institutions that we have in place that prevent people from learning.
And I will say, she gets a phenomenal storyline. Like, there's an episode where it's her point of view, so it's silent and it's her signing, and it is a fucking beautiful episode. And it's like one of the best
I have
episodes.
a question. This scene confused me a little bit. How does Katie know that she can save Penny's life?
I was a little unsure about all of the deal. I was like, why are they making a deal? I don't understand. Like, what can she do that?
I didn't know if I missed something, but okay. I mean, I guess but
I guess, like, going off what May said, if you're WikiLeaks and you are trying to make all magic for everyone, that might include helping Penny some. You know what I mean? Like, somewhere in there is something to help Penny.
I guess a related question I also had is, like, they were very explicit that his contract with the library extends beyond life, which sounds like you can't kill him, actually. So I'm a little confused, like, what his death would even look like. Like,
we're not at liberty to say.
Yes.
Okay.
That I will say, we do get an explanation of that. God, where the hell? Oh, then we go back to Q and Alice post-sex, Wyakowski, whatever. And he mentions that he killed a god. And I like that she kind of thinks he's joking and then is like, you really killed? What the fuck are you talking about? You really killed a god.
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
And I kind of like, for me, this is better explanation storytelling, where it's like, she's kind of explaining it, but we don't need to hear the whole explanation. We're seeing it happen when he's like, a literal plumber like Mario Brothers, and then we see that guy walk into that one break Bill's classroom and turn off the fucking faucet.
And he looks so fucking smug. Like, you idiots, look what you did to yourselves. Like, he's just so happy to be in there cutting them off from magic. It's like in Ghostbusters when what's his name? Dick comes in and shuts down their ghost trap, and he's so fucking pleased with himself.
And I did get worried. I forgot. I was like, oh God, when we saw like feet walking into that classroom and the professor that we like, who's Ibsen?
Yeah. Professor Lipson.
I was like, oh no, is she gonna, like, I couldn't remember. And I was like, last time this happened, someone's eyeballs got ripped out. I don't want to see this lady's eyeballs get ripped out. But I do think a thing that they do well, again, is work within their budget. This is clearly something within their budget. Have a guy dressed as a plumber. He walks in, there's a little thing. But I do think it looks cool. Like, I like the idea that this man is just doing the job of turning it off. He's not there to fight. He's not there to kill anybody. It's just like, yeah, I'm the plumber. I turn the magic off.
And something works for me too is this idea that Alice so very clearly explains how we knew from previously that Ember and Umber are higher gods than like Our Lady Underground and Reynard, right? And the politician even more down here. They're already up here. And we thought up until this moment that they were like the gods.
Right.
You know? And now she's like, no, you idiot. Like I learned everything when I was an infant. I'm the, Wikipedia of everything that you need me to be. And there are their parent gods. And you're like, oh, okay. So now this is something that isn't just going to affect Earth, right? It's going to affect everywhere. So they not only turn off the magic on Earth, but they turn it off in Fillory, and we can imagine in the other worlds that it's getting turned off as well. To anywhere that humans have access, I suppose, seems to be the thing. Because we'll get in the next scene, but the idea that, like, fairies and unicorns still have magic, because that's not who pissed these gods off.
Right.
So I like that that's well
because
explained.
They have their own independent magic that was not tied to the wellspring.
To the wellspring, yeah. Yeah, so I like how that's so well explained. Just very simply and easily, these bigger, larger gods that we already know are bigger and larger have parents, and you piss them off, and it just makes sense, which isn't always easy.
Yeah. And I like it. And it's like, there's like a little bit of me where I'm like, that should have been the end. But I do like the setup with the fairies. I almost feel like there's a way to combine the fairies and that plumber coming in and have it be that. But 2 months later, we see a fence around Breakbills. Fog is IRL blind again, not like magically being able to see.
Yeah, they're just doing theory now since they can't actually practice magic.
I do like the idea of what does a magic school look like if there is no magic.
Pretty boring.
Yeah, pretty fucking boring. And I do like, I mean, y'all mentioned, like, I like seeing them back in class to remind us, oh, these are like grad students. Like, right.
Are they grad students? How old are these characters?
They're supposed to be grad students.
Yeah, they're supposed to be mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
So this is like, so they're like 22 older even.
I would say like 24 is what I would say, like 24, 25. I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I think Lev Grossman, when we had him on, did say they are older than the books. And in the books, they're just like college students. And they are very much like not college students.
I mean, some of these actors are like 45. So sometimes I'm like, I don't know what's like Penny is like, they're like, he's trying to hook up with teachers. And I'm like, this is very weird, but he looks older than this woman. So I don't know what's happening.
Listen, we can still be hot at 40.
You can be hot, but I'm just confused.
Penny, Arjun Gupta is the same age as me, so.
So he's 21. Yeah, no, I mean, that's like, Anthony, I feel like we discussed this in season 3 of Buffy. That's why I always forget about Wesley and Cordelia, because like those are clearly actors that are the same age. So I have a lot of trouble reminding myself that they are not supposed to be the same age.
I just wasn't sure if this is an undergrad or a graduate program. So now that I know, that's very useful.
I think it's like a passing line where they say in the first episode, like they're applying to grad school. So it's like, you know, that can kind of, because it can be like right after, or it can be some of them waited.
Really the weird part of that is like a lot of the optics of the houses and stuff is very undergrad, like the drinking parties and stuff. It's like that grad students are not hazing each other like that.
Moving on campus usually.
I don't know. I did my PhD in Louisiana and we did a lot of drinking.
But did you pledge a frat?
No, actually, there's Sigma Tau Delta. Yeah, I was briefly in that.
Okay.
And I didn't want to pay dues for something I was doing work for, so I did not. Anyway, we did. We threw a little party.
We have our 2 PhDers in this recording, and they are not Mayor I.
I don't even have a college degree. I have an associate's degree.
That's a college degree.
Is it?
So you're saying you didn't waste a lot of money getting $1 bajillion in student loans?
I just got an email from the Department of Education about how we're going to have to start paying again soon. Didn't read that one yet.
Yeah, I mean, I wasted $50,000 and a year and a half of my life that I could have been working, and instead I learned almost nothing at a for-profit school. And I have an associate's degree in sound design for games.
Oh,
awesome, you've been very helpful to me with my microphone sometimes.
Oh, thank you.
We see that Margot and Elliot are trying to decide what to do. Margot is being reactionary and she says democracy has to take a back seat. She wants to declare marital law. Elliot says they shouldn't jump to King and Queen Caligula. Enter Fen, who has escaped the fairies.
At the cost of her toes.
To warn them, which they're already outside, so those toes bought like 2 minutes more.
Basically nothing. I do love the fairy plot. I love the Fairy Queen is such a good character, which vaguely spoilery, but not spoilery. Your concerns, Anthony, I do feel like are addressed.
Which concerns?
About the Fairy Queen, about it being tropey.
The show is about tropes. Like the show is about tropes. Like you bring them on and then you subvert them. That's the structure of it, right? Yeah. But yeah, like you know, I like a weird queer fairy vibe at the best of times. I liked the ambassador they had for the fairies, who just seemed to be a human. Yeah. He was just like this weird homosexual. I was like, that guy rules, actually. I'd like to know more about him.
I think the issue with the show with that is because it is very queer/queer friendly, that they do have a lot of characters like that where it's like, oh, this like cool queer person, are they in it? It's like, oh, nope, they're in 1.5 episodes. We never see them again.
Sure.
But it's because they do that a lot.
It felt like Elliot was vibing with Fenn's brother, and then that turned into, I guess, nothing. Like that character is kind of
you thought it was okay. We have discussed this. It doesn't. We were torn, but he is supposed to be her ex-boyfriend half of the people on the episode also thought he was supposed to be her brother.
I was laughing so hard when I listened to that one because I was like, oh yeah, of course some people thought it was his brother or her brother.
That was an ex?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think I was like,
this was her gay brother.
I was like one of the only ones that was like, no, it's her. I'm pretty sure. And I like Google it in the episode, and it's like he is her ex, and I was like,
nope.
As my default is, I'm probably wrong. Everyone else on here is smarter than me and pays more attention. But I was right. Yeah, Fen comes in to warn them the fairies are coming. Margot says they're already here, and everyone can see them. And I do think it's a pretty cool shot of the Fairy Queen on the horse.
Oh, it's
and like
so good. The whole, yes, like, amazing.
It's an excellent tableau.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I also think Candace Cain is used just. I feel like often, especially like, I mean, you mentioned Tu Wong Fu, like someone like Candace Cain would get relegated to roles like something in Tu Wong Fu where it's a little goofier, but she's able to fully sell that she is this like pretty vicious fairy queen who is very protective of her like kingdom. And it's such that character is so good and has like, I don't know. I love seeing it. There is a scene in the season 3 premiere relating to all this that is like my favorite fucking scene. Yeah, I'm just like, this had me like super fucking excited for what's to come. And again, we get another ending that I do not think we needed, where Julia visits Quentin.
Okay, but the scene is shot to mirror when Elliot's laying on the thing, and I really loved that about it. Yeah, so in the very, very opening of like Quentin entering Brakebills, we get Elliot lying down, like smoking a cigarette, and Q like walking up to him, like, "What the fuck is this place?" kind of thing. And even though the conversation is wholly different, I just loved the visual being similar.
I thought it was mirroring both that, and when Quentin and her are sitting outside that bar in Brooklyn, and like they're sitting and the sparks come out. I don't know. I also am glad that Julia of all characters would be the one that has she's had the worst time. Yes, let her have some magic. Like, I'm glad if we needed a character to do this, it makes sense that it's her.
Mm-hmm. We did skip one thing, which is Friar Joseph coming to warn Alice about the lamprey that's after her.
Oh, yeah.
And that is so fucking ominous and terrifying because we did not see what she did to the lamprey's family. We don't know. And the way he describes it is like, oh, she did something really bad, and this is going to come back to bite her in the ass.
And
also, Friar Joseph looks like a more evil version of Mark Pellegrino.
Are the lampreys? Is that the like little girl demon she killed in the sandbox?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I don't fucking remember what those are. I also
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think we know what she did to the lampreys. I don't think that's something we saw her do. That was something that she was off niffing on.
I also it took me a second to remember who that guy was. I was like, who? This is not her brother, right? And I had to look, and I was like, oh, okay. The show does that so often where I'm like, please give me more of a reminder who this is, because it's mostly like shot from here up. I like needed to see his like full friar dress to like know it's him. If I saw the like robes, I would have known. And I do like May the way that shot and like the spooky Halloween towny where it's like the trees and the leaves blowing and it's like a long path. Like I got a kick out of that.
When she ran like through the woods, it reminded me of you're the horror guy, not me, but you know I love The Craft. It reminded me of towards the end of The Craft when Sarah's trying to run away from the bad witches. And I don't know if it's because Alice also has huge boobs and Robin Tooney's got huge boobs, but like that scene is so specific in The Craft because she's wearing a really tight sweater when she runs. And we don't see Alice's huge boobs, but like, I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, I was like, this reminds me of that scene in The Craft.
And Kim is allowed to talk about someone's big boobs. So we got our a couple of our setups for season 3. And we end the episode.
With the sparks.
Favorite outfit, Kim?
Obviously, when Margot returns from the fairy realm in her gold and black eye patch and like the shoulders on that thing that she's wearing to match, my goodness.
They put her in a couple things like that really, like, I don't know what the hell you even, like a big collar almost, but it's not really a collar, and I think it looks really good on her.
So good.
May, what was your favorite outfit?
I think I'm going to go with Elliot's suit when he goes to see Julia. The collar on the shirt is not popped, but it's kind of an up collar, and just the colors of the tie, the vest, the shirt, and the jacket, they look so good on him, even in that muted New York blue filter that we get. So I really, really like that outfit. And a little shout out to the giant scarf that Katie is wrapped in when she goes to see Penny in the infirmary, because it's like, oh, you're wearing a big scarf, just like Penny always wears a scarf. Yeah. You want him to be wrapped around you.
Anthony, I know this is your least favorite question you get on the podcast. What was your favorite outfit?
Is it? Oh, I didn't know that. I love... It's always interesting watching the costume designer sort of frantically try to put something onto people that reads as fillery to me. Like sometimes it's just like they just bolt something onto one of the extras. But like, I find the way they tailor Elliot's clothes so beautiful. Like the way he's just a beautifully shaped dude. And like, I can't help but notice when they've darted the back of his because he's so perfectly Dorito shaped, they have to dart his back. And it's like, so that like jerkin moment he wears is really beautiful. Although I also really like, as a character choice, I love Umber's shawl collar cardigan that he's wearing. I think that you learn everything about that guy from that cardigan.
As always, I'm going to agree with Kim on Margot. The gold and black trim, like, aside from the really cool poofy collar thing, just that color scheme looked so good on her. Like, and I, kind of a spoiler, but this is nothing. They do a good job of matching her eye patch with her outfit moving forward. Like, yes. They do a really good job of, like, the eye patch is part of the ensemble. It's not like, well, she just has the eye patch. It's always like with the outfit. So I love that. Favorite scene, May?
I really like the scene when Penny shows up to talk to Elliot, and I think they're in Dean Fogg's office, which is kind of funny to me. But Penny basically says, I read your book, both volumes of it, tells him about the great blank space. And Elliot says, if it's written, isn't it written? And Penny's like, he essentially posits that having knowledge of the future allows you to avoid that event. And Elliot says, free will view of the universe. And we talked about it in the last episode. It's Sarah Connor saying no fate but what we make. And I love that. It's a great small moment.
Anthony?
Yeah, the 2-volume thing is interesting because we've seen that there are 2 Elliot books in the library in a previous episode. We saw that, like, for some reason, he has 2. I think it's hard for me to pick between the Elliot scenes. Like, I think that Hale Appleman is so good in all of them. They all kind of have the same tone, but, like, the actors clearly made a decision, like, I'm going to play what it is I like about Julie. I'm going to play what I like about Quentin, and, like, I think it's the Quentin Elliot scene, but it's very funny to me because when I look at the page, it's like, there's nothing here. But something about the vibe there is the most human scene in the script to me. So I like that one the most.
Anthony, you have made me so happy. I'm like, you've been with this podcast for fucking forever. And I'm like, oh, finally, he's watching the other thing that I love and we can talk about it. I love hearing you talk about this. Kim, what was your favorite scene?
Again, obviously, when Margot returns with the eye patch and she and Elliot make up and she makes that promise, and then they go right back to it. And she's like, oh, I look like Jack Sparrow if he were played by a man. And he's like, I was thinking more like a fembot Nick Fury. And it's just like their friendship works and they can have this moment where like these awful things that she's done are forgiven, and then they're just them again. And I just loved that scene.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love the whole throne room scene, honestly, just because it felt like the kind of action we haven't really gotten in a long time on this show. Like, I feel like not since they fought the Beast. And I love Ember. I think he's a fun character to watch on screen. So and I know I talked about it a lot, but I just love that even in death, he's like, oh, that's cute. I'm dead. Like, he's just like, to him, it's still nothing. He doesn't care. I love that. But a close second is actually Elliot and Julia when she's on the couch and he's like being very sympathetic with her. And it's just like, just come with me. I understand that you're depressed. I understand everything's fucking terrible. Get off the couch. It'll make you feel better. I don't know. That's the type of thing that's so important when you're depressed, even if it's not someone you're close with, for someone to be like, I recognize what's going on here. And isn't pandering to her, but also isn't being too aggressive. It's like, he's very much staunchly like, hey, I can kind of get this. This will help you. It's not like, you got to get the fuck up, or like, oh, you got to pick yourself up. It's not like doing any of that, but he is being like, this will help. And it does. And she gets to have a hero moment. So I like the idea of it, that leading to her hero moment. What grade do we give this episode, May?
B+.
Kim?
A B- for the reasons I said at the beginning. And also it's a season finale and I wanted something different.
Anthony?
I feel like it's hovering between a B and a B+ for me. Like, it's moving a lot of furniture really rapidly. So, and then wheeling on a whole new set of furniture. So, I would have liked it to breathe more, maybe, and that might have helped me out. I would have liked it to think about its themes, maybe more beyond Ember's opening speech.
Yeah.
I would have liked it to be about something thematic, like why is killing Ember the heart of season 2 would have been an interesting question to me, for it to think about. So yeah, that keeps it median to me.
Yeah, for me it's a B. Yeah, there's just a little too much and not enough letting the things that we're getting breathe. Like, again, I think that throne room scene should have been a little bit longer. Not that it's like I need like a big Marvel-y action fight scene. It's just like I would have liked more of Ember, kind of, I don't know, just like a little bit more of him, because I think he's fun. So yeah, I give it a B. Thank you to the three of us. Thank you to the three of you for joining me. Thank you to all of you for listening. This has been our coverage of Magicians Season 2. We'll be getting to Season 3 next year after Angel Season 4. Oof. If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on all social media platforms at SlayerFestX98. If you want to listen to us, you can find us on all podcasting platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else you get your podcasts. If you want to watch our recordings, because we do all video recordings now, they're all on our YouTube channel. Please give us a good review and rating. It helps the podcast. If you want to support us, we are on Patreon. We're going through every episode of Buffy every season as it turns 25. X-Men the Animated Series, Batman the Animated Series, and random movies. We just put out an episode on Andor. And if you want to follow me, I am at Ian X Carlos. Anthony, where can everyone find you?
I love that I just learned this is video at the end. I hope I didn't pick my nose or anything.
I'm on video.
I'm on most platforms at Mea Koopa, which is a bad Latin Super Mario joke. MEAKOOPA.
I'm sorry, that is a good Latin Super Mario
no one
joke.
Ever says that. Thank you. And you can read my comics most places, I guess. I'm doing Avengers Academy right now. Check it out.
Anthony, also, I feel like it's impressive. I mean, maybe I just don't see it, but I feel like you get a lot of love for that, and that's like so nice to see.
It's I mean, who gets to do a 50+ issue arc these days? So it's been fun sort of watching the audience find it, and it's weird. Like, it's every week, so we're really living with these characters. It's been a wild year now. Yeah.
Is that because it's digital?
It's digital only. It's the Webtoon Infinity style. So week to week, every Wednesday now it's been 55 weeks. So yeah, it's a crazy schedule, but I'm loving every minute of it.
That's great.
And Kim, where can everyone find you?
I'm on social, specifically Blue Sky, at Kim and Joe South with no extra E's. And for like poetry and professor stuff, you can visit KimberlyAndSouthwick.com.
And May?
You can find me on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at Everson Poe. That's EversonPoe. Feel like I need to just have a micro cassette recorder with this whole spiel on it so I can just hit play and hold it up to the microphone. Oh. And you can hear me on Tender Subject talking about body horror and cannibalism. You can find my music on Bandcamp and streaming services as Everson Poe. And you can listen to my new podcast, Pleasers and Punishers. We're on Blue Sky at Pleasers Punishers and on Instagram at Pleasers and Punishers. As of today, this recording, our episode on The Loved Ones is out. And our next episode after that is on Saw. And I'm really excited because we had my Tender Subject co-host, former Slayerfest guest, Kate Terry, on. And it was her first time watching a Saw movie and she hated it. But we had a really fun conversation about it. So yeah, check us out. And you can hear me here being a fucking nerd.
I am, by the way, I'm a staunch defender of those like first 3 movies, and then I think they become garbage, but I do love those first 3.
See, I love 1, 2, 3, and 6. 4 and 5 are, kind of messy. And then 7 and 8 are whatever. Spiral doesn't exist to me. And then Saw X is not just a good Saw movie, but a great movie.
I hated that movie so much. Like, truly hated it. Like, I wanted to get out. I hated it so much. And I loved those first 3. But anyway, This is not our Saw podcast. This is the end of our missions. And we will see you all later. Bye.
Bye.